After 45 years drifting through the darkness of space, Voyager 1 did something no one expected. It didn't physically turn back, but the data it sent carried a signal that was unmistakable, a reflection, a loop, a disruption that hinted at something entirely foreign, something that even the spacecraft's aging systems couldn't fully process. For decades, we believed the edge of our solar system was simply a boundary where the sun's influence faded into the void. But Voyager's latest transmission suggests that boundary may not be what we thought, that beyond it lies a region where the laws of physics behave differently, where time and energy twist in ways we cannot yet understand. And if this is true, it raises a question that chills the mind. Have we truly ever been alone out there, or has someone or something been waiting to notice us all along? In 1977, humanity launched two spacecraft with modest technology and immense ambition, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Designed to last just 4 years, they defied every expectation, traveling past Jupiter and Saturn, slingshotting through the outer planets, and eventually venturing into interstellar space. With memories smaller than a modern text file and processors weaker than a basic calculator, they navigated the void with precision, sending back data on moons, rings, magnetic fields, and plasma waves. Over the decades, engineers gradually powered down instruments. Each shutdown a quiet farewell to part of the mission, yet the Voyagers kept speaking. When Voyager 1 crossed the helipause in 2012, the supposed edge of the sun's influence, something unexpected happened. The magnetic field remained strangely consistent, while particle densities shifted, defying predictions. Voyager 2 later recorded the same anomalies, revealing that the interstellar medium was behaving in ways no model had anticipated. Dense where it should be sparse, calm where it should be turbulent, with magnetic patterns structured as if guided by an unseen hand. In early 2024, Voyager 1 transmitted a signal that stunned scientists. It wasn't random noise or a simple system glitch. It was a patterned reflection, a loop of data that seemed to return from the void, altered in ways the spacecraft could not have produced on its own. For weeks, NASA considered memory failure, yet backup systems and independent subsystems continued sending the same strange transmissions. Analysts described it as shouting into a canyon and hearing your voice warped by an unseen presence. As teams mapped the corrupted signals against cosmic rays, plasma waves, and solar wind decay, a chilling pattern emerged. The interference coincided with sudden spikes in galactic cosmic particles that should have been deflected, while magnetic field anomalies twisted unexpectedly, as if Voyager had passed through a membrane. Theories ranged from dense interstellar plasma pockets to non-natural field-shaping constructs, but the unsettling truth remained clear. The laws of space, as we understood them, no longer held past the helipause, and Voyager had entered a region that reacted to its very presence. As Voyager 2 began venturing into the same region, a disturbing pattern emerged. Despite being millions of miles apart, both spacecraft exhibited synchronized anomalies, tiny shifts in signal timing, magnetic field direction, and radiation exposure occurring in parallel. Statistically, such alignment should have been impossible unless both probes were influenced by the same unseen force. Scientists began to speculate that what the Voyagers had reached wasn't merely empty space, but a perimeter, an invisible structure or boundary encompassing both craft. The notion that there might be a center, an origin point actively interacting with the probes, sent ripples of unease through the scientific community. Conversations once dismissive of artificiality began to shift. Engineers who had maintained the Voyagers for decades admitted the behavior wasn't mechanical. Signals reflected back, magnetic anomalies persisted, and subtle environmental shifts hinted at intervention, suggesting Voyager 1 and 2 had entered a domain shaped by something or someone patiently observing, waiting for humanity to reach a point where it could be noticed. Voyager's role had transformed from silent observer to inadvertent participant. After decades of drifting through the void, it was no longer merely collecting data, it was triggering responses. The distorted signals, the loops of returning telemetry, and the precise magnetic fluctuations all indicated that the spacecraft's presence was being acknowledged. Scientists began to consider a possibility that had once seemed absurd, that Voyager had entered a region of space where intelligence, or at least deliberate structure, was at play on a scale far beyond human comprehension. It wasn't communicating in words, but the patterns suggested observation and interaction. Each transmission was being manipulated or mirrored, as if the spacecraft had become part of an experiment or a test, monitored by something patient, ancient, and unseen. This realization reframed humanity's understanding of interstellar space, transforming it from an empty frontier into a realm where the unknown wasn't passive. It was aware. The implications of these discoveries rippled through the scientific and engineering communities. Voyager, once a symbol of humanity's reach and ingenuity, had revealed the fragility of our assumptions about the cosmos. If a machine with 1970s technology could provoke or at least encounter responses from something beyond the helipause, then the rules of space as we knew them were incomplete. The synchronized anomalies of Voyager 1 and 2 suggested that whatever lay beyond was vast, structured, and capable of interacting with multiple objects across immense distances simultaneously. Discussions shifted from simple curiosity to existential questions. Were these environmental manipulations a form of observation, a test, or a warning? Each new piece of data deepened the mystery, revealing a cosmos not empty and indifferent, but subtly reactive, and forcing humanity to confront the unnerving possibility that we were no longer alone, or at least that something had been watching patiently, waiting for the right moment to make its presence known. As the anomalies persisted, the picture grew even more unsettling. Voyager's once predictable trajectory began to show minute deviations that couldn't be explained by the gravity of known celestial bodies. Theoretical models considered everything from dark matter interactions to gravitational lensing, but nothing fully accounted for the synchronized disruptions across both probes. Some researchers proposed the unthinkable, a space-time distortion, a boundary in the fabric of the universe where the conventional laws of physics no longer applied. Within this region, matter responded differently, signals looped back, and time itself appeared to behave erratically. Voyager was no longer simply exploring, it had crossed into a domain operating under a completely alien set of rules, where environmental manipulation suggested the presence of a force or entity capable of shaping reality on a scale humans could barely grasp. The Voyagers had reached a place where space itself seemed alive, aware and responsive. The realization that both Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 were experiencing similar anomalies simultaneously pushed scientists into uncharted territory. Despite being millions of miles apart, the spacecraft exhibited parallel shifts in magnetic fields, radiation exposure, and signal distortions. Statistically, such synchronization should have been impossible unless there was a single, encompassing influence interacting with both probes at once. Speculation quickly escalated from environmental oddities to deliberate manipulation. The notion that Voyager had triggered a reaction or been drawn into an orchestrated observation was no longer dismissed as science fiction. Analysts began to entertain the idea that an intelligence unimaginably vast and patient had been monitoring our reach into interstellar space. The Voyagers were no longer just emissaries, they had become inadvertent participants in a cosmic interaction, revealing that the void might not be silent but attentively watching. For decades, Voyager had been humanity's silent ambassador, drifting through the void with a simple mission: observe, record, and report. Encased in gold-plated circuitry and carrying the sounds and greetings of Earth, it was a time capsule of human hope. Yet, now, decades later, the message it carried had returned altered, looping back in patterns no engineer had programmed. The distorted signals, the synchronized anomalies, the magnetic kinks, all suggested a presence beyond comprehension. Voyager had not merely entered a remote region of space. It had penetrated something older, stranger, and far more intentional than anyone anticipated. This was a domain where time twisted, physics faltered, and every transmission seemed to echo back with awareness. The spacecraft's voice had become a dialogue, subtle but unmistakable, revealing that the cosmos might not only be vast, but sentient in ways humanity was only beginning to imagine. As researchers dug deeper, the implications became impossible to ignore. The Voyager's reflections, loops, and synchronized distortions hinted at a system, or perhaps an entity, operating on a scale far beyond human comprehension. What was once considered empty space now appeared structured, almost deliberate, as if someone or something was shaping the environment to respond to Voyager's every move. Speculation moved from theoretical physics into the realm of intelligence, a patient observer quietly monitoring humanity's first steps into interstellar space, waiting until we were capable of noticing. Every new anomaly reinforced the unsettling truth. Voyager had not stumbled upon a random cosmic quirk. It had encountered something that saw it, tracked it, and in some unfathomable way acknowledged our presence. The edge of the solar system, once thought to be a boundary, now seemed less like a limit and more like a threshold, an invitation, a test, or perhaps a warning that the universe was far more alive and aware than we had dared imagine. Voyager 1 and 2, once merely our mechanical emissaries, have become messengers of a reality far stranger than anyone anticipated. The distorted signals and synchronized anomalies and magnetic field twists all point to a truth that challenges everything we thought we knew about space. The edge of the solar system may not be a quiet frontier, but a threshold to something vast, deliberate, and aware. Humanity has glimpsed a cosmic presence that watches, responds, and perhaps even understands us, reminding us that the universe is not merely a backdrop for our existence, but a participant in a story we are only beginning to read. What Voyager has revealed is both awe-inspiring and unsettling. We are not alone, and the silent void may have been listening all along.